Pushing horns weren't easy like the movie said it was. And I don't recall no dance hall girls or hotel rooms with rugs. You worked hot and tired and nasty, rode your pony's head too low. And they were all the nights you couldn't sleep, 'cause it was too damn cold. And you'd sing Strawberry Roan in a Little Joe. Like the time we hit the river and the rains began to fall, and the water was rising so damn fast we thought it drowned us all. We lost a lot of steers that day and 4 or 5 good mounts. But when all the boys rode into camp, we knew that's what counts. And we sang Yippee-Ki-Yay and Amazing Grace. Or the night that broke behind us and it took us by surprise, I whistled out to Bonner, I seen the terror in his eyes. And he rode for all his horse would ride, and I know he done his best. But he crossed over Jordan, riding Dunny to his death. And we sang, bringing in the sheaves and the rugged cross. So when you see the cowboy, he's not ragged by his choice. He never meant to bow them legs or put that gravel in his voice. He's just chasing what he really loves and what's burning in his soul. Wishing to God that he'd been born 100 years ago. Still singing Strawberry Roan in a Little Joe.
Just an old and weary cowboy at the end of the trail, his worn and weathered holster hanging on a rusty nail. Holed up inside a bunkhouse, no horses in the stall, on the outskirts of a ghost town, and death has come to call. It was getting close to midnight when he heard the rider's horse and the sound of hollow footsteps on the gangplank of the porch. Breathless for a moment, not knowing what's in store, in the darkness out of nowhere, a shadow at the door. sitting at the table in the silence for a while. When the cowboy cleared his throat and grinned a crooked cowboy smile, I figured you was coming when I felt the cold winds blow. Before you take me with you, there's something you should know. I bet you don't remember, but you crossed my path before. You took my wife and child over to the other shore. It was back in '67 on the Kansas fevered plains. You'll never make me say it, but you know I know your name. The stranger nodded slowly as the cowboy told him more. I've seen disease and hunger and the casualties of war. 600,000 soldiers never made it home alive. Your shadow haunts the widow in the middle of the night. Now as anyone can tell you of the many men that tried, there ain't no way to run from you, there ain't no place to hide. The cave-in at the coal mine that killed a dozen men, it buried my kid brother, and I saw you once again. Outside the bunkhouse window, the moon was laying low, as Death sat back and listened to the tale the cowboy told. But underneath the table, where the villain couldn't see, the cowboy pulled the hammer back on the gun between his knees. Then our hero leaned in closer and he whispered, "Don't you see? I always knew the day would come when you would call on me. Someday I'll meet my maker, but I ain't ready yet." And with those words, the cowboy up and shot the demon dead. Now somewhere in the desert, in a shallow unmarked grave, a place they call Death Valley, where the shadow has no shade, the cowboy turned the tables and he made his getaway. He took the Phantom's horse and boots and then he rode away. Young man's days are numbered, Lord, most of them were spent. He was scared of dying, well, he never gave a hint. Said, "I've had more fun in this life than most folks twice my age. Been a few chapters I regret as I approach the final page. Had my share of whiskey, Lord, back in my wilder days. There was times that wife of mine wished I would change my ways.
anything